story you're about to see is one that has played out countless times since the 1960s. Boy grows up in Pennsylvania. Boy dreams of playing for Joe Paterno. Boy works hard and sees that dream come true. That is PJ Byers' story to a point. But it's the rest of the tale that separates Byers from those who have come before him. His unlikely journey to State College and the father that dreamed his dream right alongside him. Here's Rick Pizzo.
Joe Paterno, the first coach in major college football history with 400 wins.
When Coach won his 400th game last year, I realized that my son was on the same field as this man. And I just started crying. And I called him up and I said, you know, my dream for you is that someday you would have a son that would make you feel as good as I feel right now. That's my dream for you.
Fathers throughout the state of Pennsylvania harbor hope that one day their son might earn the privilege of wearing the iconic Penn State uniform.
I remember my dad always bringing me up here. That was one of the biggest things that I remember about Penn State football. And my dad always talked about Joe Paterno.
There was no way I was going to let him go anywhere else but to wear the blue and white.
Pat Byers is one of those fathers. He's dreamt that his son would be a Nittany Lion since 1992, when he met Joe Paterno at a banquet and asked for a favor for his 7-year-old son, PJ.
I had my program next to me and everyone was getting Coach's autograph. I walked up to him and I said, Coach, could you please make this out to my little boy? I didn't get to go to Penn State, but I would hope that someday he could, to see you and meet you.
Coach Paterno obliged, writing a simple note to PJ, a note Pat kept hidden from his son. PJ grew to be a high school football letterman, but Penn State never offered a scholarship. In fact, neither did anyone else.
I'd always tell my dad I want to play college football. I was all right, but I just was so reserved.
I looked him in the eye and I just said, follow your dreams. Just follow your dreams. It could happen.
PJ played 1 year of football at Division III Marietta College before making a decision to leave the game and follow a different dream.
I didn't really develop in high school as much as I felt like I should have. So I was like, you know what? Full active duty, I'm just going to go into the Navy.
He went to take the pledge, and I was talking him out of it all the way. I said, you don't want to do this. We're in a wartime. You don't want to do this. And as he raised his right hand to say the pledge, I was begging him to put it down.
PJ really wanted to serve his country. He wanted to do the right thing he felt to do. And I don't think anything was going to change his mind.
PJ trained and became a Navy diver, spending 3 years stationed at Pearl Harbor in Hawaii.
Where else in the world would you want to be at, in Pearl Harbor? Basically, we would fix anything underwater. It saved the Navy millions of dollars. I just started loving the job, but I had this side of football.
In 2007, PJ was transferred to San Diego, where his itch to play football returned.
I basically just went to Google and I was like, football, San Diego. And the San Diego Thunder came up on the search. And I was like, all right, developmental league. Talked to a nutritionist on base and just basically hit the gym as hard as I could. And I put on, in like a year, I would say about 40 pounds.
He blossomed and became a football phenomenon. I was looking at a boy that went through a complete transition. And now, the talk of the Navy and the talk of the military and the talk of service was back on the back burner again.
After excelling with the Thunder in 2008, PJ was accepted into the Navy's officer program, allowing him to attend the college of his choosing and earn his degree. His choice was simple.
He called me and told me, Dad, it's Penn State. That's all he said.
In the summer of 2010, at the age of 25, PJ enrolled at Penn State and attempted to walk on to the Penn State football team.
I had no doubt in my mind that I was going to make the team.
I knew with the training that he had in the military, they weren't going to touch him. And then he called me a few days later and he said, "Dad, I made it." What do you say at that point? What do you say? I called him, I says, "I'm coming up to see you this weekend. I've got something I want to show you."
Nearly 2 decades after Coach Paterno signed his program, Pat Byers' dream had come true. His son PJ would get to play for the football legend. And the time was now right for Pat to give his son his treasured keepsake.
Coach wrote on that program, you have to excuse me a minute, to PJ, "I'll be waiting, Joe." I held that program for years.
I just couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe he even had it.
You know, his background, the discipline he had in the service, real wanting to be part of it. And you figure, hey, let's give him a shot.
As every Penn State fan knows, that's the culmination of the dream.